Okay, let's try it this way. You are facing a criminal charge in respect of Medicare 24 tender.
Yes.
General Sibia is not.
Yes.
What bearing does your relationship with General Sibia have on that charge you are facing when he's not your co-accused?
He's not my co-accused, but
Yes.
He's been investigated.
By who?
By IDEC,
In what case? For what crime? What offense?
the Medicare tender.
And what is the proof of that when he is already not part of the litany of accused who are now being charged for the Medicare tender? So you have about these 14, 15 people who are already facing criminal charges. Now you say by IDEC, initiated by IDEC, and you say he is still under investigation. On what basis do you so say? Because one would have expected that he formed part of this cohort of accused persons, which he doesn't.
Yes, I do not know why he's not part of the...
Then how do you know he's under investigation?
Because I've been questioned about him, and also I have made a statement under Section 204 when I was being questioned about him.
You were questioned about him in respect of Medicare 24?
Yes.
Okay. I'll accept that. But what does that have to do with the fact that he's your friend? I'm sure you were questioned, and I suggest to you, about certain conduct. His conduct. Was that not the extent of the questioning?
Of course.
So that conduct, you don't need to be friends for that conduct to raise questions and be subjected to investigation. We are not discussing his conduct. We are discussing your relationship with him. Why can't you comment on that without necessarily saying anything about his conduct, which you suggest IDEC is investigating?
Commissioner, I've already commented on that. I don't know whether you want me to say... I told you he was not my friend. He's not my friend. But there is an investigation that is going on. So I do not know what is it that you say I cannot comment on. Unless now, if you want me to explain what is it exactly that IDEC is investigating him for.
No, that's not my question, because you want that to be my question. I'm staying away from that question. I do not accept, just for the record, that he's under investigation, because you haven't even proven that he's under investigation. Your say-so is not enough. It's not your get-out-of-jail card to refuse to answer a question simply because you suggest somebody else, or you suggest that there is an investigation, and there is not a morsel of proof before us that there is such an investigation. It is no answer, but that's not what I'm asking you. I'm asking you about your relationship with the man, and that you describe the relationship. Is it a long-term relationship initiated on that particular date when you went to complain about the hospital, the SAPS hospital? Does it sustain? Has it broken down? Was it very close? Was it a business relationship? I'm giving you. And you see, so far, I haven't even gotten anywhere close to what IDEC is investigating him for. And I'm demonstrating that you can answer that question without reference to what you claim IDEC is investigating him for.
Okay, then which question do you want me to answer?
Please describe in your own words the relationship you have with General Sibia. You had, and if it has since changed, when it changed, and the one you currently maintain with him.
The relationship that I had with him, it was not like a friendship relationship.
Okay. Well, if it was not like something, it has to be like another. What was it like?
Now you're pushing me to say something that I do not know what I will say, because he was not a friend, yes. And for me to go further, is the only way to do that then is to go now into the contents of the investigation, which I do not want to tap in that territory.
Okay, let's...
Was he an acquaintance?
He's someone that I knew.
Thank you, Chair. Perhaps then let's continue. It might become clearer in time for the commissioners. the nature of relationship. Staying then with the regulation 10.6 at 2.2.3, page 3, that's where I'm reading. The 10.6 required you, in respect of General Sibia, to explain the nature, extent, and frequency of your communications with him.
Communications, it was maybe once when I went to his office.
Okay. And by communications, direct or otherwise? Have
Yeah.
you communicated with him directly, and have you communicated with him indirectly? When we talk about indirectly, please explain the method of communication you conducted then.
Directly, yes, through, I sent him an email.
Yes.
That was the first time. I've never called him directly. So I only spoke with him, I think, I'll say 3 or 4 months. I'm just saying on top of my head, I cannot remember well. Maybe I'll say 3 or 4 months after I first met him. And then the communication then was through a third party, the very same Sergeant Nkosi.
And how frequent was that communication?
Frequent, plus minus 3 or 4 times.
And what was the communication about?
Let's leave it there because that is part of the investigation.
Is the engagement party you attended of his daughter or son, are you seriously suggesting it's part of IDEX investigation?
Yes, it is.
In what manner? As to who engaged who and why, or why?
I think I'll have to discuss with my legal counsel because I'm in possession of my 204 statement. The only way for you to understand that is for you to see the statement, but it is.
I think then it would help for the commissioners to understand the basis on which you seek to assert this right? Because the attitude you are adopting is you cannot ask me about General Sibia because IDEC is investigating something somewhere.
But Commissioner, fairly speaking, I have to go to court and account on this, so I cannot now ventilate anything that is to do with him, especially something that is already being under investigation. I do not know even whether he will be charged or not. So chances are he might not even be charged. I don't know that. But currently myself, I'm charged, and I have to go to court and account for these things. So I don't think it's fair for me now to speak about something which I'm not sure at the end of the day whether I'll have to account for that or not.
You see, the challenge I have, Mr. Matlala, is I think you conflate yourself with General Sibia. You are not General Sibia. You are facing charges for your conduct. And we haven't done anything to even stray into that discussion. We're talking about something separate, which is your relationship with yet a third party who's not charged with you. So I don't understand, in the current criminal case that you are facing, how you'll be called to account for your relationships with, including General Sibia. How does that come into play?
It actually does.
How?
I don't know how because I'm not an investigator.
Okay, then I'll tell you that it doesn't. You cannot even, I won't even say prove, it's too high a threshold. You cannot even persuade the commissioners that it is relevant for purposes of the current criminal case you are facing. You are not able to. You accept that?
I do not accept that.
Okay, then if you don't accept that, then demonstrate to these commissioners that relationship is relevant to the charges you currently are facing.
I think I've just said it that the only way for me to demonstrate that is for me to now to get right inside the cracks of the matter, which is something that I cannot do.
Then I'll put this proposition to you, that you don't want to talk about the nature, extent, frequency of your communications with General Sibia, because if you do, you are at risk of incriminating yourself in some offense because they are, by their very nature, they would be breaching the law. That's my proposition to you. What's your response?
I cannot argue with you on that.
Okay.
That's how you see it.
Then,
Sorry, before you move
Yes.
on, Mr. Matlala, in describing the nature of the communications with General Sibia, you have a number of options, and without getting into the detail of it, and I don't intend to repeat what Ms. Silla has said to you, because ultimately the Commission must be satisfied that you have correctly asserted the privilege against self-incrimination. And for us to do that, we need to know what it is that you avoided talking to, not in general terms, general broad terms, but specifically. Having said that, when I say you have a number of options, I can put this to you as an example. You have had interactions with General Sibia. We know you sent an email, you went to the office, and you do say it had to do with the lease. I think it's competent to ask you, have you had any interactions with him about the Medicare contract, still at general terms? And if you're asked what exactly, you can say, I wanted help to resolve the lease issue. You testified in the ad hoc committee, for example. You said you interacted with him about the kidnappings of, I think, Mr. Bushocha and Mr. Dikale. That has nothing to do with your Medicare contract. And if you don't speak to that, then you are not being frank with us. If you don't say, well, other things that have nothing to do with the Medicare contract I've dealt with him, then you're not being frank with us. The chairperson said to you, asked you, have you socialized with him? And it had to be put, it had to be dragged to you, in my opinion, for you to say, yeah, we had an engagement. So there are topics that demonstrate or would explain and say something about your interactions with General Sibia, and they have nothing to do with Medicare. And there's no basis or valid basis for you not to speak to those when you're asked to explain your interactions with General Sibia.
I think also what Commissioner Ballo is referring to, I think we have had sight of the ad hoc committee transcript. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's in that transcript where you say, in fact, you contradict what General Sibia said before us here. You say you attended the engagement function, and that you did not go there just to pick up your wife, which is what General Sibia told us. You say you attended that, and as I understand it, you attended as an invitee, and you were there for a period much longer than just going there to pick up your wife. So I'm raising that in support of what Commissioner Ballo is saying, which is there is a lot you can talk about, and I do not see how it's incriminating for you to tell us that you went to the engagement party and also to contradict General Sibia on what he himself said about your attendance there.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, it's not only the Medicare tender. Like I said before, it's also the contents of the recordings which are also putting me at the risk of self-incrimination. So I do not know how is the approach of, I cannot tell now as I sit here what is the approach of the investigation. I do not know that. So when I testified in the other committee, by then I was not yet charged or even being under investigation. So now it's a different thing now. I'm charged and I'm also under investigation.
You have only two bases on which you assert that privilege. You are either an accused or you're a suspect. There's no all-encompassing protection or umbrella that you say, well, I know it's being investigated and I don't know which way it will go. That's not what that protection that is given to you is all about. That protection applies if you show that I'm an accused on this issue, this very issue, and so I shouldn't be required to speak to it because I'll self-incriminate. That is the easier part. The other is I'm a suspect. But even there, you have to provide details because, as Ms. Silla says, it's not your say-so. You know, you don't just say, I'm a suspect, and that's the end of it. We are entitled to engage you to establish that indeed you are a suspect. Because if you're a suspect, of course, we have to be careful what we ask you if you are asserting that privilege and how we engage with you. So those are the two topics. That something is in the recordings is not sufficient to invoke that protection for you. You can't simply say, well, it's in the recordings and those recordings are being challenged and I don't know how they are going to use those recordings, therefore I should not be required to answer those questions. I think you can accept that if the privilege is properly invoked, if you rely on it properly, on the correct facts, the commissioners will give it proper regard because we wouldn't want to impinge on your fair trial rights. You can accept that, but the burden is on you to show us that in answer to a particular question will tread into your fair trial rights, and we must respect that. So far, you're speaking in you're dealing with matters in very broad and general terms, and that doesn't avail you. It's not available to you. But more importantly, you are either a suspect, and you have to show why you say you're a suspect in a particular matter, or you're an accused. Those are the only two circumstances. I don't know if you want to comment.
Yes, I wish to, Commissioner. I said I will make sure that I get the transcript from the pre-trial to prove that I'm actually a suspect in those recordings. And I will say again that in those recordings, I did not know to which extent they're going to investigate. So I do not want to be careless by saying something that will later incriminate me. But that is a fact that I am under investigation for those recordings, and then I will prove it by getting those transcripts so that you will know that actually I am a suspect.
Do you accept that we have to have those transcripts presented to us? They must be engaged upon with you. They must be before us. You must look at them. We must engage with them in order for us to agree with you on any item. It's not everything that's in the recording. I take it that you say is untouchable. But even if that's what you're saying, that everything in that recording is untouchable, you do accept, at least I think I understand you, to accept that those recordings would have to be before us, and then to engage with you when you say, that part, if I deal with it, I'm self-incriminating. You accept that?
The recordings, I do not want to deal with them because they are under investigation. What I wanted to do is bring the transcript to show that these recordings are being investigated.
Transcript of the recordings?
I'm sorry, I meant to say the contents of the recordings, yes.
That's what you mean when you say transcript, you mean the contents?
I said I will bring the transcripts to prove that what is in the recordings, I'm actually being investigated for that. So for me to prove that is to bring the transcripts.
Yeah, I'm just trying to clarify the transcript of what?
Of the recordings. No, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. The transcript of the pre-trial where the state advocate mentioned that I am under investigations in regards to those recordings.
Okay. All right, but you've heard me, what I said earlier.
Yes,
that
I did.
We would have to hear as per question or topic. We need to see that indeed, if you are required to answer a question, a specific question relating to that topic, then it does validly raise the self-incrimination defense.
I take that, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Perhaps if we could see if we can quickly work through this list. We now get to sub 2.2.4, which required you to comment on the nature, extent, and frequency of physical meetings and/or gatherings with General Sibiya, including when, where, and how these meetings were organized. Provide details of the persons in attendance and as well as the purpose for each such meeting. So if we look at 2.2.4, can you tell the commissioners how frequently you met with General Sibiya and under what circumstances?
I will say maybe 3 or 4 times.
Can you deal with each incident as to the purpose of that meeting and how it came about?
The first time I've already mentioned it. And the second time is when I was going to get a feedback of what I was complaining about.
And how did you get that feedback? Where and?
I went to his office also.
Once again?
Yes.
And this was to get feedback on?
The Public Works lease agreement.
Okay. And who arranged that particular meeting for you?
I think it's Sergeant Ngosi.
Sergeant Ngosi. Do you know, how did Sergeant Ngosi communicate with you that he has succeeded in arranging this meeting?
He had my telephone number.
Say that?
He had my phone number.
You still don't tell me how he communicated with you.
I'm saying he called me.
Okay. Now,
And when he called you, did he call to say General Sibiya wants to meet with you to give you feedback? Because it's Nkosi that calls you.
Yes.
Is that how it happened? Thank you. You said yes, Mr. Matlala.
Yes, yes.
oh, I too had missed the answer, sorry. So that is the second time. Now, the next time?
I think I will confuse the timelines because it's a long time ago, but
Okay.
there was an occasion where he asked me about the Jerry Boshoga, so I do not know whether it was the third or the fourth time. I don't know that.
Now, can you tell us more about that engagement? How it came about and who initiated it?
He initiated it, yes.
Directly with you or through Sergeant Ngosi again?
Like I said before, he never called me even once.
Okay, through who did he do this?
With Sergeant Ngosi.
And what about Jerry Boshoga? Did he want to engage you on?
I think it was after the raid from my house, because the police came to my house and then they said that they were looking for a kidnapped victim.
Okay.
And then later I just don't know, I can't remember when, but at some point I went to him and then that's when he asked me that, what do I know about that?
Oh, you went to him?
Yes,
Is it back at the office now?
yes.
Who helped you to set up that meeting?
I said it was Sergeant Ngosi.
No, the Sergeant Ngosi, remember we stopped counting and I do accept that it's a long time, so you won't exactly know whether it's the second or third. Sergeant Ngosi organized for you to get the feedback on the lease agreement. That much you said. So now this is yet another meeting, and you didn't want to commit as to whether it's the third or the fourth. This is regarding Mr. Boshoga. You said he initiated it. You said General Sibia initiated it, and you said he did so through Sergeant Nkosi.
Yes, I said.
And you said you went to him
Yes.
at his offices.
Yes.
And so he requested to meet you.
Yes.
What about? Did he explain?
Are we still on?
On Mr. Boshoga, yes.
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 Yes. It was about that. He asked me what I know about that.
So then, if I understand your communication channel, he would ask Sergeant Nkosi what you know about that. Sergeant Nkosi would ask you in turn what you know, that General Sibia wants to know what you know about that. Your response would be, no, I don't know much, or I know whatever, and then is that how the communication works?
Oh, no.
Oh, please enlighten me.
He asked him to arrange a meeting, then I went to him,
Okay.
and then that's when he told me.
So he initiated this engagement with you.
Yes.
Do you know in what capacity he did so? Was he investigating this kidnapping, or was it as an interested person, as a relative? Do you have a sense of why he reached out to you on this matter?
Yeah, I think he was, because what he said to me, but I don't know what to make out of that, but he said if he can crack that case, it will help him a lot. So I don't think it was because of he was a relative or something.
Okay. So he initiated this contact for purposes of investigation?
I think so, yes.
Now, if that would be in his official capacity, I take it, as a police officer, I think a senior ranking member of the service.
Yes, he
It would be
was.
official.
I don't know how we will justify it to be official, but he just called me as a police officer, so I don't know.
And that's precisely what I'm trying to determine. It's a police officer.
Yes.
You have been questioned about the kidnapping of Mr. Boshoga. I take it was not by him the first time when you say they came to your residence.
Yes, yeah.
So now we know that he subsequently becomes involved in it by requesting a meeting with you. Correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Hence my question, did you understand him to be investigating that disappearance of Mr. Boshoga? What was your understanding? What process were you engaging in, seeing as so far you had just met him twice about the lease agreement?
But as a senior police official, maybe he will refer the investigation to someone else. I don't know how it works, but what I know that he called me and then he asked me questions in relation with Mr. Boshoga.
So you don't know whether he was doing that as an investigator into the kidnapping?
I cannot tell that. I don't know.
Okay. And were you able to respond to his questions to satisfy his curiosity?
I think so, yes.
Okay. Now, we would have said that's your third meeting, but you did say that it was some time ago, so now you're no longer so sure. I will just talk about the next contact you had with him. When was the next, and who initiated it, and where, and what about?
Okay, let me say this, because all of his requests to meet him was through Sergeant Nkosi. So from now on, whenever he called me, it's through Sergeant Nkosi.
Okay.
Yes.
So then before you get to my question, if he was an investigator in this Mr. Boshoga's disappearance, shouldn't he have contacted you directly? Isn't that what investigators do? Couldn't you have obtained your number from Mr. Nkosi and say, I, as a general in the police service, I need to talk with Mr. Matlala for whatever reason, because I'm investigating a kidnapping? Why couldn't he contact you directly?
That I cannot answer. I don't know that.
So you did make the point that all future and past contact with him was initiated through Mr. Nkosi. As a matter of interest, did you ever inquire why or who made Mr. Nkosi the intermediary between the two of you?
I think it's Mr. Nkosi himself who started this thing.
How does he do that?
Because he's the one who gave me his, his email address.
Yes, the first time I can understand, but why couldn't you then have your direct contact with General CB after that, after the initial contact? Why did you always need to work through Sergeant Nkosi?
I do not know that, but that's what was happening. I don't know that.
It never crossed your mind that by now you are on your fourth contact, the one we are going to discuss next, that perhaps your relationship has developed to a point where you can contact each other directly?
Commissioner, when that thing was happening, obviously I wouldn't know by then, but now I will understand why that was happening. But unfortunately, what was happening is something that I cannot speak about. I think I requested that some part of my evidence I will request, because I'm under investigation. I'm really under investigation. I'm not making this up. So I asked that maybe if it's possible that I can, some of my testimony can be in private, because I cannot risk incriminating myself. That I cannot do.
Does Mr. Bushoka's kidnapping have anything to do with Medicare 24, which we know is the case you are currently facing in
Medicare
court?
24?
Yeah. You have always invoked Medicare 24, and I'm interested to find out now whether Medicare 24 is relevant to the issue of the kidnapping of
No, it's
Mr.
not.
Bushoka.
No, it's not.
Okay, so Medicare 24 is out of the way.